Okay, so this is my presentation on the Odyssey that I was reading. It's a book by Homer, written back in ancient times. Uh, my teacher's Miss Hutton, uh, English 500A course. And why I chose this book. I mostly chose this book because it talks about the tales of my ancestors a little bit, in sense, because my entire family comes from a Greek heritage, and our last name actually comes from two misspellings of Hermes. The first, I believe, happened in Greece and was a family spelling error. It turned into Hermede instead of Hermes. And then the second happened when the family came to the USA. The USA failed at spelling our name and produced Hermes, which was pronounced like Hairmed or something. And then later, family members couldn't really pronounce it, so it turned into Haramis. Where does the title of the book come from? It comes from the main character, Odysseus. And his story is kind of the main story in the background. So kind of a summary of what's going on. The book tells about the adventures of Odysseus and his son Telemachus. And what makes this book so good is it goes over a wide time frame, and Odysseus and Telemachus are both technically main characters. They jump back and forth between the two stories throughout the story, and only tie in at the very end of the book, which is really nice, and it has lots of good imagery in it and such. Some quotes that I prefer, like this one. This is during Telemachus's part of the story. He's trying to find word of where his dad is, and he's at a dude's house, and the dude sees Athena turn into a seagull and fly away, and the dude says, "My friend, methinks that thou wilt in no sort be a coward and a weakling, if indeed in thy youth the gods thus follow with thee to be thy gods. For truly this is none other of those who keep the mansions of Olympus, save only the daughter of Zeus, the driver of the spoil, the maiden can't pronounce, she that honored thy good father too among the Argives. Nay, be gracious." And basically what's going on in this quote, just to summarize it up quickly, is the dude literally was kind of indirectly insulting Athena and didn't even realize that Athena was right next to him in person. So this is kind of him apologizing and also complimenting Telemachus and all that fun stuff. And then the next quote I like, and this is kind of more of a personal one, is, and this is Odysseus' side of the story. "Therewith he puts into his hands the hanger dight with silver, and uttering his voice spake to him winged words. Hail, stranger and father, and if aught grievous hath been spoken, may the storm wind soon snatch and bear it away. But may the gods grant thee to see thy wife and come to thine own country, for all too long hast thou endured affliction away from thy friends." And what this is saying is basically a dude is giving a sword. That's what a hanger is. It's a type of sword. He is giving a sword to Odysseus for his affliction, which his affliction was he left for the 7-year war against the Trojans and helped defeat the Trojans, and then on his way back had mishap after mishap, and by the time he finally gets home to Telemachus and his family, it has been 20 years that he has been away. And he goes over this multiple times in the book of, it has been 20 years since I have been home, which kind of brings kind of a bit of sadness, because patience to endure that much time away from your family must be really strong. And that's kind of what I'm also doing for themes here. I have some quotes here that I like. For instance, the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. And I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail my ship. And what these kind of three themes are is patience, time, and adventure. Odysseus and Telemachus both were very patient and had a lot of time of just waiting for the other person. And in the process, they also went on many adventures to achieve getting to the other person, which is pretty nice. Who would kind of enjoy this book? People that really like Greek mythology, like me, various novelists, people that like The Heart of Darkness or stuff for novels, they may like that. People that kind of prefer a harder English to read, because this is written in the older English and older Greek and everything, so it makes it very hard to understand to our newer, less formal English, if that makes sense. And kind of just anybody would really enjoy this type of story, because not only is it a novel and a story and kind of a legend at once, it is also technically a poem and a bunch of other stuff as well, which makes it very diverse and very dynamic at the same time, which is nice. And that's pretty much all that really goes on with the stories. It's kind of curious how in the end Telemachus and Odysseus finally get back together and live as father and son, and the tale of how they get back together is quite entertaining, and I suggest you read the book so you can find out yourself.